As Donald Trump addressed a joint session of Congress, protest groups gathered at parks, state houses, and other public grounds across the country to assail his presidency as dangerous and un-American. The rallies and marches, set in motion by the fledgling 501 movement, a volunteer-driven group organized in the weeks after Trump's inauguration, mark the latest attempt at national resistance to the hardened support of Trump's Make America Great Again base and the success it has had in reshaping the Republican Party in the president's populist image. Protesters dotted the North Carolina state capitol grounds with picnic blankets and signs as part of a people's picnic organized by the 501 movement. The demonstration featured more flags and signs supporting Ukraine than the movement's two prior rallies in February, as attendees voiced outrage at the treatment of President Volodymyr Zelensky during his visit to the White House last week. While Trump and Vance received much of the blowback from protesters, many also called out billionaires, both within his administration and those who support it from outside. Recall Trump delivered an address to a joint session of Congress that drew Republican applause and silence and protest from Democrats as he outlined key actions taken during his first 6 weeks in office. Partisan divisions were on display as Republican lawmakers gave Trump frequent standing ovations while Democrats sat stone-faced, held signs and walked out of the chamber in protest. That mirrors divisions among the U.S. population, which is split on the direction Trump's changes and controversial agenda are moving the country, according to the latest NPR/PBS News/Marist poll. Texas Democratic Al Green was removed from the House chamber after heckling Trump early in the speech, standing and yelling that Trump did not have a mandate. Green first received a warning from House Speaker Mike Johnson, and when he did not stop, he was escorted out by what appeared to be Sergeant-at-Arms staff. Other lawmakers protested more quietly. Dozens of Democratic Congresswomen wore pink to the speech as part of a coordinated response. Republican Teresa Lega Fernandez, who chairs the Democratic Women's Caucus, told Time magazine that to signal our protest of Trump's policies, which are negatively impacting women and families. Pink is a color of power and protest. Lega Fernandez told Time, it's time to rev up the opposition and come at Trump, loud and clear. Several Democrats walked out of the speech, turning their backs on Trump, wearing shirts that read, "Resist," and "No kings live here." Others held up signs reading, "False," "Protect Medicaid," and "Musk steals" throughout Trump's remarks.
Dust storms brought near-zero visibility to parts of New Mexico and West Texas, prompting the National Weather Service to issue dust storm warnings. According to Associated Press, the week's strong weather system will bring a threat of blizzard conditions, high winds, flash flooding, severe weather, dust storms, and critical to extreme fire weather conditions to the nation's heartland, according to a Weather Service update Monday. Video footage shot in Dexter, New Mexico, showed people pulled over along a road as a sandstorm blew through the area. The chief of the European Union's executive on Tuesday proposed an €800 billion plan to beef up defenses of EU nations to lessen the impact of potential US disengagement and provide Ukraine with military muscle to negotiate with Russia following the freeze of US aid to the embattled nation. According to Associated Press, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said the massive Rearm Europe package will be put to the 27 EU leaders who will meet in Brussels on Thursday in an emergency meeting following a week of increasing political uncertainty from Washington, where President Donald Trump questioned both his alliance to the continent and the defense of Ukraine. "I do not need to describe the grave nature of the threats that we face," von der Leyen said. Key to the quandary of EU nations has been an unwillingness to spend much on defense over the past decades as they hid under the US nuclear umbrella and a sluggish economy, which creates challenges for a quick ramp-up of such spending. Von der Leyen said the first task is to loosen the fiscal constraints the EU puts on budgetary spending to allow member states to significantly increase their defense expenditures without triggering punishing rules aimed at keeping deficits from going too far into the red. So if member states would increase their defense spending by 1.5% of GDP on average, this could create fiscal space of close to €650 billion over a period of 4 years, von der Leyen said. This would be topped up by a loans program of €150 billion to allow member states to invest in defense. She said military equipment that needs to be improved includes air and missile defense, artillery systems, missiles and ammunition, drones and anti-drone systems, and cyber preparedness. Such a plan will force many EU member states to greatly increase their military spending, which is still below 2% of gross domestic product. NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte has told the member states they need to move to more than 3% as quickly as possible.
Good morning, everyone. President von der Leyen will make a statement. We're living in the most momentous and dangerous of times. I do not need to describe the grave nature of the threats that we face, or the devastating consequences that we will have to endure if those threats would come to pass, because the question is no longer whether Europe's security is threatened in a very real way, or whether Europe should shoulder more of its responsibility for its own security. In truth, we have long known the answers to those questions. The real question in front of us is whether Europe is prepared to act as decisively as the situation dictates, and whether Europe is ready and able to act with speed and with the ambition that is needed. This set of proposals focuses on how to use all the financial levers at our disposal in order to help member states to quickly and significantly increase expenditures in defense capabilities, urgently now, but also over a longer period of time over this decade.